Hello, everyone. My name is Irma de Jong. I have been a certified energy healer since 2002, and I have been practicing body talk since 2005. The main modality that I do use is body talk, but I do integrate lots of other philosophies and modalities. So today is the 3rd of March, 2022. And I would like to give you a session. There's lots happening in the world, and my focus for this session, or I would like to dedicate the session to raising and holding the light. And the best way to do that is start with ourselves and see what it is that we need in order to accomplish that. So today is the 3rd of March, and even if you count up all the numbers, so the 3rd of March, which is a 3, and then 2022, which is 3 2s, we actually get a total number of 12, and 2 and 1 is again a 3. So today it's all about 3s. And one of the things about 3 is that it's expression and emotional sensitivity. But the other 3 that I was just thinking of was, 1 and 1 makes 3. When we have a relationship with someone, it is 2 individuals, but then the relationship becomes the 3rd component. So I hadn't even thought about that until I started talking. So I guess that is we're including that in what we're doing today as well. Other than that, I have not prepped, so we'll see what's gonna come out of the session. I would like to start with the cortices, just so that we get into a calmer state of mind. And the cortices is a cornerstone technique of the body talk system. It is to balance the brain. So that's where we start. We use our hands often as a focal point. So we put the hand at the bottom of the skull. That's your first hand position. And then with the other hand, we tap on the head, the heart, and around our navel, and we call that our 3 brains. We breathe in and out, and our focus is on balancing where we hold our hand, balancing that part of our brain. And then we go to the next part of our brain, and we just place the hand that we just tapped with on top of the hand that we just had as focal point. And then with the releasing hand, we can then tap again on our head brain, our heart brain, the heart brain, your innate wisdom. And then around the belly, the gut brain. The gut brain always tells you what's right and wrong, what really fits and what doesn't. But again, the focus is right here in this part of the brain, and then we go to the next part. So we just again place our hand just above the holding hand and we tap. Make sure you breathe in and out a little bit deeper than normal. So through the breath, the brain can really scan your body to see what it needs. And again, balancing right hemisphere to left hemisphere of the brain, optimizing circulation, synchronization, really functioning of the brain, making connections. We want to go all the way down to the eyebrows, behind this, the frontal lobe, but it's also called the prefrontal, which has a lot of cognitive functions, like our higher intellect, are right behind our forehead. Breathing in and out. And then we go to the sides of our head. Again, just holding it for a second, really feel the balancing of the left and right hemispheres. And just release one hand and tap. All right. We're going to do a little focus on the breath. Whereas we breathe in, we imagine that we breathe in the light. And you might imagine, starting from your heart, you have a little spark of light. And as you breathe in, that light gets turned on. And as you breathe out, that light gets brighter. And as you breathe in, the light gets bigger. And as you breathe out, the light gets brighter. And as you breathe in, the light gets bigger. And as you breathe out, the light gets brighter. And you just continue to do that until you feel that your light, this inner spark, this light within you, just fills your entire body. And on the out breath, it gets brighter. In breath, it gets bigger. And the out breath, it gets brighter. And if you've reached all the edges of your physical body, you might want to try to, as you breathe in and you make it bigger, you might want to see if you can extend beyond your physical body. And as you breathe out, it gets brighter. As you breathe in, it gets bigger and brighter as you breathe out. You can take this as far as you would like. You can fill your entire room. You can fill your home. You can fill your street and your city. You can fill your country. You can fill the globe. And you can extend as far beyond that as you like. But just start with yourself as you do your in and out breath. And if you like the way that this feels, you could do this more often. So now I'm going to tune in, and I use my body talk protocol to ask the questions as to what is the priority that we all need. What is the most important part for us to get balanced? Even though I set the agenda, right? The agenda being to raise and hold our light, it might be that we need something else to support that, or to even be able to do that. All right, so the first priority from the body talk perspective is actually an emotional release. So there's an emotion that has collected, and I guess it's sort of stuck, and it's worry. and it's in our endocrine system. So the endocrine system is all about our hormones and our chemicals. So if there is a worry aspect to our chemicals and our hormones, then you can imagine that reaching joy or reaching peace would be a difficult emotion to get to. Now, we're not just releasing it. Well, we will in a minute, but first we need to link it to something else. And I'm being taken to the environment. And so it touches our heart, but it really affects our expressions. So it's almost as if we are stifled. And the environmental aspect is something different for everyone. So maybe for you, it's closer to home. It could be your job. It could be your relationship. It could be even the relationship you have with yourself. And it could be further from home because a lot is happening in the globe right now. So, it could be the situation with Russia and Ukraine. It could be, I'm hearing Pluto return, which at some level affects all of us. And it might be all of the above. So, it might be the situations happening in the world as well as close to home. So what's important for you is that you tune in what really resonates. Because like all these things that I mentioned, you might have this gut or this instinct that says, yes, that's it for me. And with other things, you immediately know, no, that's not affected me as much. So whatever it is for you is what's most important. Okay. Okay, so we're going to tap this out. And just like we just did with the cortices, we hold a hand as a focal point. So the hand can be on your heart or your chest area. And you can just wiggle it, rotate it, touch it, and then take some deep breaths in and out. And then my focus is on the emotional release of the worry within the entire endocrine system, as well as these environmental influences that are stifling our expressions. Okay. So when there's an energy shift, I usually yawn. It can be that you do the same. It can be that you hear your tummy rumbling, or yeah, you might even burp or something like that. Okay, now we're going to look at what else is needed today. And we're going to something that's called matrices, but really those are relationships. And we're going to make it very personal because we are looking at our masculine energy. So regardless what gender we are, we all have a masculine energy within us, and that is what we are addressing. And we are repairing our connection to our ancestors. And the repair to the ancestors. So if we come from the aspect or the focus that our ancestors have been through many different experiences, and through the experiences, they received wisdom. And so it's wisdom of holding the light, of choosing love. So whatever experiences they have had, I want to say once they get to the other side, they realize that choosing love, choosing to see the good in people, choosing to see the best in a situation, regardless of how difficult a situation might be, coming out on the other side with an aspect of love, respect, honor. And that's what they have learned. And it's interesting because maybe often we might equate that with a feminine quality, and yet we're working here on the masculine, our masculine energy. Okay, so we're drawing on our ancestors for their wisdom of light and them having chosen love. And we're also repairing the sense of sight. Now, we have actual sight, being able to see, but we also have a subtle sight, which would be like being able to see a situation, being able to envision a situation or an outcome, or it's not exactly imagination, but closer to intuition. Yeah, and it's both of them. It's our actual sight, and it's the subtle sense of sight. Again, this is for our masculine energy. And we can go ahead and implement this. So tap it out. But what I would like you to do is, as you tap, state your birth name, state the name that's in your passport, not what they call you, but the name that's in your passport. And then again, you can hold your heart area, and I will tap. And I will say my name quietly. And again, as we breathe, as we tap, we breathe in and out a little bit deeper than normal so that we are really able to get all the information that we need. Okay. I'm just checking, I'm asking a few questions as to where we need to go. And what I'm getting is, this comes from the Vedic teachings. And so the word is sattva. And that means like living dharmically, living really with goodness in mind. So it would be living the way you want to live for yourself, but also treating other people, animals, in a loving way, I guess, in a way that is good for you, good for the other, doing good. Living consciously is really what this is about. We need to bring it down to an organ. We need to bring it into our liver. And the liver, we're now going into the traditional Chinese philosophies. So the liver is like the seat of the soul, right? So are you living according to your soul? Are you living the life, I guess, that you're supposed to live here on Earth in this particular lifetime, in this particular moment, on this 3rd of March, 2022? Is it in alignment is the big question. And yeah, we're then taking it into our brain. And it goes to an aspect which is called the thalamus, which is an area in the brain that really, no, except for our smell, but no information does not go through the thalamus. So incoming information goes through the thalamus, outcoming information goes through the thalamus. So incoming information is everything that we pick up around us from our environment. That's incoming information. But incoming information is also, let's say, the signals that come from within our body. They also pass through the thalamus. It gets processed there. And then the outgoing information is sending it to wherever it needs to go within our body to, just like we addressed before, our hormones, for instance. It's this whole incredible complex area of communication. And sometimes we call this the grand central station of the brain. So that gives you a good analogy of how important this part is. Okay, hold on. I had a sense that there was something else. Okay, yeah. what I'm getting here is it's a drawback. It's a tightness. It's a holding back. So from a body talk perspective, we're talking about consciousness, and we're talking about the consciousness of inhibition. And that can show itself on many different levels. It can show itself in your behavior, that you actually, stop yourself from expressing yourself, or doing something that you really want to do. But like I said, this tenseness that I was feeling, it can also be the inhibition of that. You just tense up, that you almost lock up. And this is interesting. What we're doing for this is, even though we're anchoring it in our individuation and this heart wisdom that I talked about earlier, we're also going to allow expansion. Oh, and I say this word and it immediately brings me to, we're in March. And on the 21st, we have the equinox. So that means that we're going into spring. And we are going into, growth and birth and this new spring, this new life. Okay. So is there anything else? Yes, there is. And everything that I've addressed so far, starting with the sattva, right? This living dharmically, gets a permission. And it's a general permission, meaning that applies to your body, mind, and spirit. Sorry, it is to be the best you can be. Well, that sounds good. To be the best you can be, or be the best I can be, I guess, since we are applying it to us. Yeah, nice. Okay, so hold your heart, and then I'll do the rest, and we tap. And you can say out loud, I give myself permission to be the best I can be. I give myself permission to be the best I can be. It makes me smile. It makes me laugh. It makes me giggle. I give myself permission to be the best that I can be. It's like this, I want to say butterflies, but it's like kind of like a happy vibe. Good. I give myself permission to be the best that I can be. All right. Excellent. All right, this is it for today. I hope that you have really enjoyed it. And if it resonates, please click like and subscribe. And I will be back on the 4th of April, 4/4. Maybe before that, but I don't make any promises, but for sure on the 4th of April. So I look forward to seeing you again, and lots of love. Bye now.